redo my fork seals. So I'm going to be showing bits and bobs here and there, and try my best to show you of what I'm going to do. So stay watching. All I'm going to do for the minute is to take my front wheel out so that I can get to the actual forks. Right, I've got the front wheel out. There's some parts of the forks I haven't been some bits on attached to the forks I haven't been able to take off, so at some point I'm going to have to drill them off and just replace it with a nut. So this is what I've got to so far. So I've got no wheel. All I've got to do is undo the yokes here and up here, and then just slide them out, and then try and go from there. What I'm going to do is be careful on this bit because it's only held on by 2 bolts for the top yoke. I have to try and undo the speedo shaft, or the speedo cable. That's a screw for the speedo taken out, so hopefully now I'll be able to get the forks out with anything, with nothing in the way. Here we go. 2 forks. Just so I don't lose any bolts. Place these back in. Do them out only a little bit. So then that way they don't go walkies. Same for these 2. Now to get on with the actual forks themselves. And the reason why I decided to do it is because, as you can see here, that has gone all dirty, corroded. As you can see, horrible, corroded, and on the inside it's not brilliant. So it just needs a good clean up replacement. There you go, if you can see, all around it's not very nice. So what I'm trying to do is what I have seen, and just replace these and replace the seals, the oil seals. So because that's all horrible and not very nice at all. It's just, I don't know how long it's been on there for. Actually, probably last time I've done this, it was probably over 10 years ago. So they've done well, but I think I'll obviously try and do one at a time. So unfortunately, I can't get each fork off because at the moment there are a bolt here and a bolt just there. At the moment they're starting to round off, and I'm most likely going to have to drill it probably and replace it with a bolt. So let's see. Yep. So firstly, oh dear, this retaining clip Not very nice at all. Oh, I know one thing I'm not wearing, which I should do, is protective eye goggles. And this is not nice at all. So try my best to, just a lot of crud, dirt and the weather getting into it. So what I'm trying to do is get the old one out. Oh, crikey. And that is the old one, all nattered, and it's just had it. So might as well just in the well throw that away. And then all I'm left with is all the dirt and crud. I think the old one is even rotting away. But as I'm doing it, I'm going to be renewing the actual oil as well. So I'll try my best to do what I can, basically. I'll try and make it, try and not make the video so long, but I'll try my best. I've got a feeling I'll have to undo the bottom, the top bit. But always try and get the right size. Otherwise, if you get it too big, and it's basically ends up, it's not like a solid. It's got movement, or like it's way too big, and you got so much movement that as soon as you try to undo it, you're just gonna round it off. You don't want that. Not at all. So try and get one. This is a 19mm. So you can see that is a 19mm. What I'm going to try and do is get that. That's a nice, can't really move that at all. But we'll try just in case, just to be better. This is an 18mm. And that ain't fitting. So it's definitely 19. Get that. My sockets. And now try it this way. So keeping my hands on the actual top of it still, and keeping my fingers away as much as possible. Just going to undo. Obviously keep your head away. There we go. Like that. There we go. So you've got all this thread here. Obviously the seal looks fine. I can't see anything wrong with that. Nice and thick. Probably give the actual thread a bit of a clean up, but it looks fine. So yeah, that looks fine. Yeah, that don't look too bad either. The actual disc thing. And now we've got the spring. So let's get that out. That doesn't look too bad. Looks okay. But yeah, I think it's definitely due for an oil change because it's grey. All grey. So try my best. What I'm going to use is just that. It's just really, it's not dot for oil, but it's got oil in it. What I'm going to do is pour the oil from the fork into here. But I don't know, there's going to be other things, so I'm going to add my finger over it. What are you? You are a washer. So let's put you on the bottom. I've got the rod. How it looks? Well, just grey. Very, very grey. I think that's all of it, all the oil gone. Yep. So that's all of that. Let's put this to one side. Right, now the other bit I've got to try and do. Hopefully, right. Yep. I don't know if that's more oil. But by rights, I should be able to jot this up. Right, now all I've got to try and do is, seems that I couldn't get the actual, seems that I couldn't actually get the actual rod to slide up and down as it should do, or the actual seal to come out. I think I've got to literally undo the actual bolt that is inside there. If you can see it, there's a bolt just inside here that I've got to undo. So let's see if I've got an Allen key now that will do it. Got these ones. Hopefully one of them will fit. I'm hoping that's done it. Success! Oh, that was done out quite a bit. Right. So I've loosened it up now. Yeah, I've definitely loosened it up. I just wanted to make sure I haven't rounded anything off. But that was in there, solid. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to nip it up, just finger tight. So like, you know, just a finger muscle tight. Right. And just as I don't have trouble with the other one, I'm going to do the same with the other one. So that when I go to change the other one, I don't have no trouble with it. Oh, dearie me. Only thing is, I had to do it because this bit is too small. So it's only a small bit that's actually gripping onto it, which wasn't enough. I had to use it so that it goes inside like that, so that I get more grip. But unfortunately, it's not ideal to have it up and out so much. So it's not ideal to have it up like that. But I had no choice, because if I put it in like that, on the other one it will work, but it's not deep enough. So like with this one, I'm going to have to do it the same. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I can actually get it undone. success again. So nip it up, just finger tight, and that's that. I'm only doing ways it's possible for me to actually get it undone. Really, if I had like something like this, a socket with one of these Allen keys coming out from it, so it would look similar to that sort of thing, then I would use that, because you want to be able to get it so that you're closer to it. I think. Don't quote me on it. I am not a professional. Like I say, just DIY, do it yourself. But yep, I know that there's oil in this one. So I've drained the oil out of the left hand side, and it's just the right hand side that I've not drained the oil out of. I just needed to undo the nut underneath it, but I've already done the left hand side. So let's get on. How I had to do that basically was I had the top bit, I had this bit, well, a type of bolt, well, the top bit of the fork screwed on so that it gets the actual compression on the actual damper rod seat, so then it's got all the pressure there. Otherwise, from what I have heard, there's also ways of doing it by putting a stick or broom down it just to put some compression on it and to undo it. Another way to do it, just to bung it on, and that way you've got all the spring and everything in there, so everything's compressing onto what needs to be compressed onto. So let's try and get it done. He's moving. Oh, dearie me. Almost. And we have it. That is almost out. I'm probably just going to have to get a pair of straight edges just to lever it out. And there we have it. Oh, dearie me. Yep. That's another, I'm not sure what it is, some sort of collar, I believe. And that is the horrible seal that was on it. So I'm hoping that the other one comes out easier. I believe that is the washer that goes underneath the actual seal. Yep, I had to take my car off because I was getting a bit warm there. Bit of a workout there. Hey, so now, all of that, all dirt and cruddy, going to give that a good clean up. Probably give it a good wire brushing, so that it'll look near to brand new, close enough, and then I'll be able to clean up the rest of it. Because at the moment it is so dirty and cruddy you can't even see the actual, you can just about probably see the area where the circuit's meant to go. Even the circuit it basically got all rusty, as you saw. And looks all next to brand new. Not going to be brilliant or awesome, but it's good enough for what I need it for. Like you can now see the actual lip for the gap for the actual retaining clip. So that's all good. So I'm going to put that to one side. and give the rest of the stuff a good clean up. Obviously, if you see any of this stuff, that's, to me, apart from needing a clean up, it looks fine to me. Like I say, I'm not a professional, but to me it looks fine. No cracks or signs of wear, so looks fine to me. So that will go on the bottom of this to hold, to actually, it will sit in the actual bottom one anyway. This is some sort of cuff. I don't know the actual name of it just yet, but with a bit of a tidy up, get the old oil off. Yep, that looks okay to me, to be honest. Yeah, no cracks, it's just a little bit of dirt. Get the old oil off. That will also fit on here, so that will probably go from the top down. Like that, just slide it down to the bottom, and that will sit there. I got a feeling as I was yanking it up, this literally overtook that cuff. So as I was trying to do it, that was going doosh, doosh, and then come off. So my own fault really. So that'll be on there. This will go on top. I know that I probably need to give this a bit more of a polish, but it may have some little bits and bobs on it, but it's not cracked or anything. All I've got to do is keep an eye on these bits, and if I do need to change it, then I will. Right. So now, clean up the little spring that goes on the actual, I think, damper rod. So, as far as I know, this piece goes onto this piece, like, obviously, on it, sort of thing. But I'm going to give this a clean up first. So, this bit, to me, it doesn't look that bad. It looks in fairly good condition by the looks of it. If I actually had a big socket or something like that, or Allen key or something like that, to put actually through it, but I managed to get it off the other way. So when I put it on, I just don't put it on with like mega muscle tight. So, but tight enough that nothing leaks. So put that on over that. A sort of fork tube. Right, we have the dishwasher there, so that will go underneath the actual rubber seal. I think it's a bush, I think. Like I say, don't quote me on it. Like I say, I'm not a proper mechanic. That's all cleaned up as much as possible. That's when this actually goes in. Here we go. Hopefully I'll be able to drive it through with the pipe. So what I'm going to do is, just as I don't mess it up anymore, I'm going to see about putting this washer over it so there's more coverage. Put a little bit of copper grease inside the actual groove of where the actual collar has got to go, and then I'll put a little bit of copper grease on the actual collar itself, so as in that way it's not bone dry and it actually goes in, slides in. And so far that seemed to have worked better. With a little bit of friendly persuasion, it looks like it's gone in more, and that has gone in as it should do. So I think that's done it. Yep. Yep, by the looks of it, that has done the trick. So, no special tools. Well, this pipe, special tool. It's all nice and tidy in there. Looks literally like a new, full conceal. What I've done is put this thing where my finger shadow is to ram that in. Obviously with this pipe, so that it's all even, no scratches. And what I've got to do now is put this seal in. So I've got my seals and dust seal there. What I've got to do is drive this thing in and then have a clip go into that groove that you can just about see. That groove, I can't point to it, but this groove here, I can put that in there, and now I've got to put this on top of it. So put that on it, actual seal. So from what I can see, there's like a little spring on the inside that goes on the bottom, whilst you have like this little lip on top that goes on the top, obviously. So I know people say about putting something over that to let it slide, but just gonna do that. The washer is in there. What I'm gonna do is place it with my fingers, so there's in there as it should be. And I'm gonna, lightly as possible, until I can get that little lip round. Right, I think that's the best I'm going to get. So that's, you can, I think you can just about see right in that corner the actual clip area. So hopefully it will work. So brand new one. The other one, well, as you saw, put it up the top, down. try my best to get it in. Yep, I feel more happy with that. As you can see, all the clips, all the bits are in the gaps of what I was trying to get. So they've gone into it fairly easy. Oh dear. So that I'm quite happy with. And now the dust seal for this side. New dust seal. Old dust seal. Right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to leave that sitting on it for now, and I'm going to chuck all the inner bits inside, so which means this thing goes in first. This washer goes on top of that cylinder. Don't drop it. We put this back on. That'll go all the way up. This disc will go right on top of that. I think for the time being I will do it up for the time being until I've got both of them done. Right, I haven't it completely done. Finger tight, finger tight. Right. That's pretty much the assembly for that one. All I've got to do is do the other one. Now just like with this one. Brand new one for this side. Right, if you end up having problems with the seals not going on properly, like I am with this one, if you can see, because I managed to only just do it with this one. I found a solution. Hopefully you're getting old. What I found is, if you get an old socket like that, because of it being round, you want it to get to be the same size, so it curves round, so that it curves round it. So when you go to do it, you then, instead of hitting this, the actual fork itself, you're actually hitting the actual sill down. So in the end, you're hitting the actual old socket. So when you're doing it, you'll be able to get the actual sill in. And all of that is now flush. So now to do this side. So let's hope it works. Lovely, just how it should be. I think all of that is done. So a nice little tip there, trying to get in future, trying to get your dust seals onto here, use an old socket, or best not to use new ones, but if you got ones that you've used a lot in the past, because otherwise if they're brand new, you don't really want to scratch them up, but if they're rusty and mucky, then they might end up bending up. But yeah, use a socket, preferably one that's the actual size of the curve, and then as long as you hold it on, I'll do it one more time. As long as you hold it on, try and face you. I'm not right-handed, right? So as long as you hold it on onto the actual thing itself, so you sort of like hold it with your fingers like that, and then you tap the actual edge of it like that, and then you get a nice, pretty much a nice seal. Let's do a bit so that it's actually nice and flush. Because I can't find anything to actually do it with, so, and that is nice and flush to how I like it and how I want it. Right, well, since earlier, I've managed to get the actual seals back on, and I had to do up the bottom bolt, which was underneath the fork, but in order to do that, I had to put everything back in and screw up the top bit of the actual forks, so that I had the compression there to actually do the bolt up. Once I had done that, then I basically undone the actual the top bit of the actual fork to get the spring out, and then to pour the oil in, the new oil. So I tried to flush out as much oil, or try to drain out as much oil as possible, and the new oil is in there. I then, once it was at the right measurement, so the measurement was 105 millimeters from the oil to the top of the actual rim. So basically I tried to get it the closest I could to basically 10.5 centimeters. So once I'd done that, I put the big long spring in with the little disc, screwed it back on, screwed the top of the forks up, and then after that I basically gave it a bit of a polish, a bit of a clean up, so that it doesn't look too bad. Right, I've put it all back together again now, but what I'm going to try to explain is that as I said, tried to clean up the forks as much as possible. It still doesn't look all brilliant or anything, but tried cleaning them up best as possible. And when I had to get them inside the actual head part, I tried making this one, this side and this side, as flush to this as possible, so then it's not uneven or anything like that. So I had to just give it had to give the actual fork itself a twist. So I had to grab it, give it a twist so that it would actually twist up into these holes where they're placed, and just to secure them on this side and on the other side. There's this nut here, so I put it in there with some copper grease, just in case in future wise I have to take it out again. It won't be difficult to take out again. And also there's an Allen bolt there, if you can see it. There you go, Allen bolt there, which I put copper grease on that as well. And it's the same for both sides. Just show you quickly. There, and also there as well, if you can see, just about. Gave them a tighten up. Then all I had to do then is to put the actual wheel inside. So put the actual spindle bit through first, but I had to get the actual speedo part for the wheel on there, so that as I put the actual spindle in, it goes straight through to the other side. I've got had spacer there, and obviously put the nut on as well. So trying to do that was a bit fiddly, but got it done anyway. But on this actual spindle bolt, I put copper grease on that as well as the actual nut. And then after that, I then fed this speedo cable through to there. So then everything on this, all the bolts and nuts, I put copper grease on it, so then that way if I have to undo it again, it's easier to undo. And as I showed you from the other video, all I do is do them two bolts up, as well as this small one, to attach it on again. So that's what I've managed to do on it. But before I even go on it, I have to nip these two fork bolts up a bit. So this bit here, I've just got to nip that up, because I've done it just sort of like wrist tight kind of thing, so that I can actually get it on there. But all I've got to do now is just to nip it up tight to make sure that nothing leaks out at all. So from that's how it looks for now.